What's up, homie? I just got done looking at your channel and then doing some kind of like external research about some of the artists that you've been using and some of the keywords that you've been using just so that I could give you like a really good breakdown about some really like some things that you can do to really like improve what you're doing, like improve the good things you're doing, and then some like really like kind of pivot things that you can do to really like supercharge your growth. So we can just jump into that. For one, I really like that you're focusing on like a really like niche type of artist. Like Baby Keem is like super dope, and he's got like a really dope niche following. So like if you can tap in with that fan base, whether like on the producer side and or artist side, and like get those people to really start watching your beats and stuff on YouTube, you're really going to be tapped in with like a group of people who are going to keep coming back as long as you keep supplying them with content. And then kind of working off of that, like another thing I'd like to commend is the fact that like it seems like you're really dedicated to like the grind aspect of this, because at least from what I can see for the last month or two, like it looks pretty consistent. It looks very consistent actually, um, which is good, which is excellent. So like all of those things are very good. And then if you go into like one of your actual beats, you see that you've got everything like set up very nicely. Like you're responding to comment, you're curating engagement on your own post, which is excellent. You've got the links in there. I would say use BeatStars because I love BeatStars, but hey, as long as you have a store link in there, man, it's totally okay. And you've even got like a freaking you even have a freaking what are these things called, bro? I'm blanking right now. A lead magnet here, which is incredible. So you've got like a lot of good stuff going on. You're using really good tags. They don't show them in Safari anymore, but I would assume you also have these tags in like your like actual metadata tag area. So you have good stuff going on, man. This is excellent. One thing, if we could start talking about areas that you might be able to like create more growth and capitalize on, I think anybody who like follows me on Twitter probably knows this by now because I say this like so much, or if you're on my email list, you've heard me say this a lot, is that the images are so important for two different reasons. The first one is that Google is Google owns like all the images on the internet. So it's actually it's and it puts those images into the algorithm, and the algorithm then uses that image information to determine how keyword relevant your content is. So, for example, if I'm posting a beat of like a Travis Scott type beat and I have like a picture of like Juice World, or maybe even something more wild like a artist from Germany like Kalim or UFO 361, like something wild like that, like it would blow people because, and it would blow the algorithm, which is more important, because it would be like, wait, he's saying, it's like a Travis Scott beat or a Jaden Smith type beat or like whatever I said, but then he's got this like completely different picture. Now obviously you can set up your title in a certain way to make it work, but like the point being that if you just have like, so like let me even just step even way further back from that. If I have a picture of like Travis Scott, or no, if I have like a Travis Scott title and then I have like a picture of SpongeBob or something, like that's wild. Like it's really hard to like make that, it's really hard for the algorithm to then say, okay, this is like relevant because like he's saying it's about Travis Scott, he's saying it's music, and then there's a picture of SpongeBob. Like, what is going on here? So it's kind of like the same thing here. And a lot of people, producers, have to learn this on YouTube. I had to learn it. Like everybody has to learn it, because you think like the goal is just using really cool images, because there are a lot of producers who get away with that, but they are the exception. They are not an example of the rule. If you pay attention to like the most consistently successful channels, kind of like those middle tier channels, and then the really big channels that are still very successful, they're usually using artist images. And I would say that would be the first place that you could improve, man, is just using more relevant, like if you're only going to use Baby Keem, like I would maybe suggest getting a graphic designer to make you a bunch of dope Baby Keem images, so that if you can't find them, or if you're scared of copyright, like a lot of people are for some reason, even though they're literally just Google images, but I understand why people would be scared, because some people do actually own those pictures. But the point being, find a way to make it more keyword relevant, because if the algorithm can recognize that, oh, okay, these pictures are also of Baby Keem, and then more importantly, if your audience of people and the audience of people viewing Baby Keem type beats can realize that, okay, I see this image of Baby Keem, or I see this image of like Baby Keem paraphernalia, or I see this image of Baby Keem like imagery, something about his album artworks. You know, he's got like the gradient, you know, for his for like all of his singles and stuff. Like, so you could do something like that, something creative where like people are like, boom, as soon as they see it, they recognize it as Baby Keem material. They click it because they're interested in Baby Keem, therefore they're interested in your material. That's kind of the whole gimmick behind type beats. So then if we could go even more in depth in terms of talking about that gimmick, the other thing about the gimmick is that you want to make sure that your beats are as relevant to the artist as possible, because that's actually what the audience is going to hear and then be like, oh my god, this is a really dope Baby Keem type beat. I like this. And the person who likes Baby Keem and is impressed by the fact that you made a really good Baby Keem type beat is going to be like, oh, let me engage with this. Let me drop a like. Let me subscribe. Let me drop a comment letting them know this is dope. The goal is not necessarily just to post beats. Like, yes, you want to post beats, but the gimmick with using the type beat thing is that you want to, you know, actually replicate that beat, because you're leveraging an audience of people who are expecting to hear that thing. So let's say I say that I'm making like Playboy Cardi type beats. So, you know, like not hyper pop, but like chill, like kind of synthwave stuff, like the kind of stuff that Pierre Bourne makes, you know, Zay 808, reverse melodies, kind of like, what's the VST that they use, like all purity melodies, stuff like that. So that's what someone's gonna be expecting if I say I'm making a Playboy Cardi beat, and then they click on it and all they get is like fucking like hard ass like Toronto type trap music, like some like Logic shit or like some Travis Scott shit. Like, that's gonna blow people. They're gonna be like, bro, this is not a Playboy Cardi type beat. You're insane. So it's kind of the same thing. You have to understand that it's not like these people are the people searching for this stuff are the most intelligent people on the planet. You have to think about who's actually searching up these type beats. Like, these are people who have access to the internet. So to have access to the internet, you have to be incredibly intelligent. You have to be incredibly wealthy if you think about it. Even the poorest people who have access to the internet are very, very wealthy compared to the actual poor people of the world who are living in total strife every day. So keep in mind that you're dealing with very, very intelligent people. So they're going to be like it. So you want to be, so if they hear a beat that is even slightly off from like Baby Keem, they're going to be like, okay, I might not fuck with this. So if you're way off, so it's literally just a beat and you're choosing Baby Keem because you think it's a good keyword, that's going to hurt you in the long term, which isn't good because you have so many subscribers. So you want to, you know, relative to like the normal type beat producer on YouTube. So you want to leverage that as much as possible. Whenever someone sees a Baby Keem type beat on your channel, they're going to be like, oh, he's got a decent amount of subscribers. This is probably going to be keyword relevant. If they hear it and they feel otherwise, that's not good for you, because every time someone clicks on your video and then doesn't engage, that's a negative. The only way you can get a positive out of them viewing your video is if they engage positively. If they just view it and do nothing, then that's bad. Even a dislike technically would be better, but you don't want a dislike either. You want the like. And the way to get that like, the way to get that subscribe, the way to get the comment, the positive comment, is to make it as relevant to the keyword as possible. That's what's really going to drive the engagement. That's what's really going to help you, because you have everything else. You have a decent subscriber base already. You're posting freaking consistently. You have the key, you have the beat store, you have the lead magnet, you have everything. So if you're trying to use YouTube to like drive traffic and you know, disperse your lead magnet, and then, you know, yeah, like bring traffic back into it, I would say you want to get as keyword relevant as possible. That's why you hear a lot of people, when you hear about people building websites and stuff like that, they say that you have to like start doing SEO, which is search engine optimization. You have to optimize your website to be found in the search engine for whatever niche your website operates in. It's the exact same thing for YouTube. You want your channel to be so optimized that it always appears in the search engine for the search term that you're trying to perform in. So if I could use myself for an example, and then maybe a couple of other producers, and then we could wrap up. For me, I know that my channels are going to appear for some of these keywords: Travis Scott, Jaden Smith, Dark Melody, 808 tutorial, and Kanye West, right? That because I make Jaden Smith type beats, Travis Scott type beats. I make melody tutorials. I make 808 tutorials. So those are the keywords that I'm going to perform in. So I want my channel to be very, very optimized to perform in those things. So I'm not going to be dropping, like I'm obviously going to drop diverse things, but I'm not going to be dropping like lo-fi beats all the time. Like I'm not going to be dropping, like dance hall. And it's not because I can't do those things. And it's not because I don't have those kinds of beats in my store, but because I know what type of system I'm working in YouTube. I want to maximize that as much as possible. So if we could go to someone like Yondo, for example, I don't know if you know who that is, but if you don't, you could look him up. He's an excellent example of someone who takes advantage of his keyword and his niche. I don't know if he still uses artist images or if he uses artist images at all. Actually, he might be one of those people who gets away with not doing it, but it's only because his branding is so good. So when you're the exception, you usually have a really good example for being the exception. But the point is that he focuses so directly on like one type of keyword, and he knows that he performs very well in that keyword, so he continues to hammer on it. There's no point in dispersing the energy and trying to like do a bunch of different things or trying not to be as keyword relevant with your content as possible. You want to optimize all of your content so that your channel is optimized so that you appear in the search engine. I think another really final good example would be Cody, CXDY. I don't know if you know his beats, but he's another example. For a long time, he was crushing it with the ASAP Rocky type beats. Like he was absolutely done. He was number one in that for like ever. And then he only lost his number one spot because he switched over to Travis Scott, and then Tree Time and like Scorpio took his spot, which those two guys are also great examples of people who dominate their keyword in their niches because they understand what they're doing. So you kind of see you'll see a pattern when you start to study these kind of like dominant channels or these high performing channels, and then you'll begin to see some of the middle tier channels as well that still perform very well for the same reason. When you start to really I encourage you to actually try it. Go ahead and just start looking up the type beats for the type of beats you want to make. So if you want to keep doing Baby Keem, which I don't think is a problem, I would just say you want to be as keyword relevant with it as possible. So continue to study Baby Keem's music and discography, and then find images of Baby Keem so that you can be keyword relevant. So if you're gonna do that, I would say start studying his discography, start studying his producers, like I know Pilgrim. I don't know if you know that producer, but he makes like a lot of melodies for Baby Keem, and he's linked with a lot of producers who produce for Baby Keem. So that's a guy right in the producer community who you can go watch his tutorials on the Split Mind channel. You can go watch the tutorials of the people he works with. You can literally learn how to make actual Baby Keem type beats so that you can become keyword relevant. And then, dude, Google and Pinterest are going to be your best friend in terms of finding images. It's the 21st century. There's going to be images of these very, very popular people. Maybe more obscure artists might be hard to find images for, but if you're going for someone like Baby Keem, you should have an endless supply of images, in my opinion. I might be wrong. I don't know that much about Baby Keem, but the point being that there's a way to find images, especially if you're working with a popular artist. So, if that's something that you want to do, bro, just study it and you'll dominate it because you basically have everything else going. And then on the back end, I don't know how much you're doing in terms of like how many subscribers you have to your email list. But if you have any amount of subscribers right now, I would say you really want to build rapport with them before you start selling anything. Try to get those people to absolutely fall in love with your value to them. Even if it takes, 2 months, 6 months, a year, you want to prove to those people that you are indispensable, so that even if they're not, I don't know how to say this, even if they're not buying anything, or even if they don't buy anything from you for a long time, you don't really leave their mind because you've provided so much like invaluable information and just like value to them. So like that's a really important thing that a lot of producers don't think of. Like once you get these free down, because the point is you're not really trying to sell beats here, you're trying to soak up leads, which I believe you understand. So when you're doing that, you want to make sure that you continue to provide that value. It's not just providing value one time and then being like, oh, I want to start selling you something. That's a guaranteed way to make sure that you never actually sell that person something. You want to provide as much value. You want to do more than you are paid to do. So basically, you want to do so much, because when you do more than you're paid to do, you end up putting people in debt to you without them even realizing. And it's good for a bunch of other reasons, because even if they don't pay you back directly, you also get something out of it, which is that you learn how to be a better customer service representative. And you also learn a lot of like pleasing personality techniques, which are just good in general, because as a beats as a producer, you're a beats salesman, which is just a type of salesman. So you need like a very pleasing personality to do that. So it never hurts to go that extra mile in terms of like providing value to people who are on your email list. So, try that. Give them free beats, give them free licenses every once in a while. Like, free licenses is a completely different topic of discussion. Just find, research information about artistry, find ways to provide value to them. And just become their friends, ask them about their lives, build email sequences. And that was the other thing I was going to say. If it's more of a case of you don't have any email subscribers, or you need more email subscribers, because everyone's heard the thing where you make $1 for every email subscriber that you have like confirmed as a subscriber on your list and that you've built rapport with. So like, email subscribers are very, very valuable. And I can confirm that you will make $1 and sometimes more per, email subscriber that you have. It's really crazy. A month, which is really crazy if you really start to like hunker down on what you're doing. So if it's an issue of you need to figure out how to get more people on your email list, I would say there's a couple of things that you could do. Learn email marketing fundamentally, because that is basically the process that any producer applies to selling beats. They try to make it seem like it's this magical thing, like, oh, it's email marketing, but for producers, it's literally just email marketing. So if you want to learn how to do it, just go to YouTube and type in email marketing tutorial and pick whatever service you want to use. Aweber, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, ClickFunnels. I think I saw yours was ClickFunnels. They can do it too. Anything. Just learn how to learn the fundamentals of email marketing, and then learn how to apply those fundamentals in the, using the user interface of whatever program or application that you choose to do your email service providing, or your customer relationship management, whatever service you use to arbitrate that. Just learn how to master that. So for me, I use MailChimp, so I'm always watching MailChimp tutorials. I'm always in MailChimp messing around with it. I'm always reading their articles, trying to learn about all the new features that they have going on, because I'm always trying to figure out how can I use this tool to provide better service to my customers. So yeah, I would just say learn it as a business. If you're trying to make money doing this, which I would assume you are, because you just pay $10 for a consultation or for like a review of your channel. I would assume you actually want to make money doing this. Like, study it, man. Like, there's no other way around that. You're going to have to study music production and get better at making beats. And then you're going to have to study business and marketing and get better at business and marketing. But I can guarantee, as much as any human being can guarantee anything, that if you study it and you practice it, you will see results. Because the issue is not your devotion, which is the issue for a lot of people. Your issue is not the devotion. I think the thing that you can do is focus your devotion better. So if you kind of like think about the things that I said during this little chat that we just had, I really, really think these things will help you, because dude, when you have enthusiasm and effort like you have, it's really just a matter of focusing it in the right place, and then boom, everything clicks. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you get something out of it. I really think you have a lot of potential. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. And of course, I do have this freaking awesome course that teaches you how to like build an entire like YouTube and email marketing system based on like basically everything I do. Like, you get the templates, you get like 5 or 6 hours of instruction and a bunch of other dope stuff. So if you're interested in something like that and you don't want to take like, I don't know how long it took me to learn email marketing, like 3 or 4 years. If you don't want to take like it doesn't take everybody that long, but if you don't want to take the many months or years it could take, then I think that course could also be helpful for you. It's only $97. So definitely reach back out if you're interested in something like that. But yeah, I think if you take everything that I told you in this, you will be able to take your game to a whole nother level, man. So again, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you get some benefit from it. Have a dope day. Peace.